From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night, join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by donating to Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. What happens when we come in contact with aliens? Do we question ourselves? Do we think that we're sane since this really isn't supposed to exist or happen? Let's look into it tonight with author Raymond Szymanski. Ray is a leading authority on all things paranormal at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. His award-winning book, 50 Shades of Grey's Evidence of Extraterrestrial Visitation to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and Beyond, takes you deep inside the top-secret base that has been linked to governments, recovered aliens, and their crashed spacecraft since Roswell in 1947. But his latest book details the abduction phenomena. Alien Shades of Grey's Victoria's Secret Truth is on Amazon now. I'm going to tease that a little bit and just say you got to wait for us to get to this story because it is absolutely incredible. Ray will be with us in a moment. But first, at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Mr. Raymond Szymanski, it's been a couple years since we had you on Spaced Out Radio, but you're a classy dude. I'm glad you reached on out and said, hey, Dave, we got to do this again. And I was like, hell yeah, we have to. So it's good to have you back.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I had so much fun last time, and it's really nice to have a conversation with somebody who has a lot of common ground. I understand that you've had some sightings and experiences yourself, so it's really nice to communicate with somebody who can really understand what's going on out there.
My friend, it's all about aliens, man. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, my children screw up in life. It's all about aliens. You know, my dog, does something wrong. It's all about aliens. I mean, that's just the way you got to live these days with a little tinfoil. It just makes life a little bit better.
That's the excuse I use. It's the aliens that did it.
Exactly, right? Exactly. Ray, for people who are unfamiliar with your work, because we have expanded quite a bit since you were last on the show, I want to know a little bit about you for our audience who may not be familiar. You used to work at Wright-Patterson, I believe, and tell us how you got involved with the whole intrigue about writing about aliens and the paranormal.
Oh, that's an absolute beautiful question. I started as a cooperative education student out of the University of Detroit, and it was the January of 1973 when I reported to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for my first work study. And I was assigned a mentor, and we'll call him Al. That was his first name. And it's not short for alien. It's not a joke, but his name was Al. And during that first week, he was trying to show me around the campus of Wright-Patterson, which is huge. It's over 600 buildings, 8,000 plus acres. But all he wanted to do was go from one end of the building through a hangar into the other end. And he wanted to buy me a candy bar, plus show me where the coffee shop was. So it's January of 73. You know, the outside temperature is probably about 45, pretty mild in south central Ohio that time of year. And we step into this hangar, which is about 200 feet long. And in 1973, it was not being used. It was dark, big, heavy blue curtains blocked the sunlight out from the windows, nothing but spiders and spider webs. So we step down this ramp, and it's kind of dark, and we're heading to the other building that adjoins on the far side. He turns to me and says, "Have you heard about our aliens?" And I'm like, a 19-year-old co-op student from up in Michigan. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, in 1947, there was a crash out west, and they brought their occupants and their machines here for evaluation and exploitation." So I had this deer in the headlights look, I'm sure. And so I started asking more questions. And he finally said, well, the aliens have been here and everybody knows. And at the time, he didn't mention Project Blue Book. But in retrospect, I can understand now why the base kind of knew the history, because Project Blue Book had actually been based at Wright-Patterson for 22 years, all the way up until 1969. So it had only been terminated less than 5 years prior to my arrival. So he tells me about the aliens. He tells me they're in the tunnels. We can't go to see them because it's secret. And that's my first exposure to this whole alien thing. And I thought that people on the base were starting to drink on duty hours.
As a young kid, that had to freak you out because, I mean, you're just not used to that. You're right out of college. You're trying to get your own feet settled on this earth after graduation. And by the way, in January of 73, I was 5 or 4 months away from being born. So I don't want you to feel old there or anything, but I kind of snickered when you were saying that. But when you look at this, I mean, how did this affect you, Ray? Because it's not like you can just tell anybody about this, like it's common conversation.
Well, I knew that Al was friends with a lot of guys that were his age, and Al was probably a GS-11, so that would have made him about a mid-level engineer. And a point that I probably need to share with your audience is the highest you can go in civil service without congressional approval is a GS-15. So he was mid-level engineer at that point. The fact is that Al, in his career, actually went on to become a member of the Senior Executive Service. Now, that is the equivalent of a flag-level officer, like a general or an admiral. So the guy telling me this background of this widely known secret at Wright-Patterson eventually became the highest level civilian possible in the government. That's unless you're the president. So he was SES. So if you think back about this, it was pretty solid. So he had a lot of guys that were his age. He was probably 4 or 5 years older than I was. And so I would ask his buddies, his lunch buddies, like, hey, Al told me about the alien thing. And I really didn't get any pushback. I got kind of a general knowledge. Oh, yeah, they had Blue Book here, and they were investigating them. And, the building that the aliens are in is on the other side of the base. So Wright-Patterson originally had four areas, A, B, C, and D. Then after the war, Area D got subsumed or became used car lots. And then it was Area A, B, and C. So I'm in Area B, and Foreign Technology Division is the other side of the base, divided by a 4-lane highway, and that was Area A. So, yeah, general knowledge, a lot of people, not a lot of snickering. It was, oh, yeah, welcome to the club kind of thing. And to answer your question, how did it affect me? Well, it was kind of always in the back of my mind, not so much that period, but any chance I got to ask those guys, I did. But later when I started to travel and go to other Air Force bases or, other locations, I was always like snooping around the corner and asking, innocuous questions where people would say, oh, yeah, we heard about your stuff at Wright-Pat and maybe talk about their stuff. So, yeah, it was always in the back of my mind where this stuff really was. And was it true? I didn't swallow it whole. I always wondered, is it true?
Ray, for a lot of people who are listening and just kind of hearing everything that kind of goes on with this conversation that you get asked almost as a rookie, what do you think of aliens? I mean, that sounds a little far-fetched for a lot of people that it would come out so nonchalantly to a person who is fresh on the base. Like, was the topic of aliens very open on Wright-Patterson at that time?
Yeah, and I think the fact that Project Blue Book was based at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for 22 years, and then there were the predecessors. There was Project Sign and Grudge that preceded Project Blue Book, and many famous people came to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base to talk UFOs and extraterrestrials. Now, there were the public side, like Dr. J. Allen Hynek, who was the hired gun by Project Blue Book to help debunk. He's the guy that came up with the swamp gas explanation, for example. But there were famous people like Barry Goldwater who used his contacts to come to Wright-Patterson and meet with people at the Foreign Technology Division. What they told him, I don't know. But those were visitations and incidents that weren't masked. They were, national headlines. So certainly the people in Dayton were cognizant of that connection. And people ask me, well, is that story true? And here's the really good thing about being a researcher, which I was at Wright-Patterson for 38 years and 9 months. And I left there, I retired there as a senior scientist, is that when I decided to write this book, and it was never an intention to write a book about UFOs, I found Al. I located him because that's what good researchers do. And I found Al, and I gave him a phone call. And I said, Al, I remember having this conversation with you. I'd like to get it documented. And so I wrote, when I started to put the book together, he said, fine, but don't ever call me again. He goes, we're only going to go through the U.S. mail. And, that's freaky unto itself. But he said, we're only going to communicate via the U.S. mail. So if you look in the first book, which is, by the way, it's been renamed. It's no longer 50 Shades of Grays. I changed the whole series to Alien Shades of Grays. But that's an aside. So I wrote this letter to Al, and I wrote the draft conversation and said, I'd like to put this in a book someday. You have the right to literally change it any way you want. If that's the way you remember it, that's the way I'm going to publish it. So he only changed a couple of things. And in the area where I said about the aliens, he wrote, I can neither confirm nor deny that we have aliens at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That is the only significant change he made. So I own a letter today that what Al did is, as a senior manager would do, which he was, he took my original and he wrote on it that the changes, and then at the very top, he said, as you know, since I'm a flag level officer equivalent, I'm not allowed to let you use my last name. But he agreed with everything that I had said in my recollection of that little event. And I have that as my evidence that, indeed, this was not made out of whole cloth, that he was part of this conversation. Oh, and I sent him a copy of the book.
I hope you autographed it.
Absolutely.
Good. Why did you think that was an important part of your life's journey to write that? Because, when you were at Wright-Patterson, were you not under any sort of NDA to protect not only yourself, but the government secrets that you worked at? Because aliens kind of fall under that government secret category.
Well, yes and no. They say that they don't exist. So if they don't exist, there can't be any secrets about them. If there's no secrets about them, then I can't possibly know any of those. See that logic chain? But in order to cover myself, I contacted, it's called the Literary Office, the Air Force Literary Office in New York. And I said, hey, I'm writing this book, and I kind of gave them an idea of what the outline was and where I was at. And I said, do you need to review this before it gets published? And the representative said, well, I only have one question for you. Is somebody paying you to write this book? Do you have an advance? Do you have a contract to write it? I said, no, I'm going to self-publish it. And he said, then we don't need to see it. I said, well, you don't understand. It's about aliens and Wright-Patterson. He goes, doesn't matter. If you do not have a publishing contract, we do not need to see it, as long as, of course, the caveat, you're not giving away any secrets. And, of course, I don't believe I am. So I said, can I have that in writing? And they sent me a little verbiage there that said I contacted them and they gave me clearance to publish the book. So that's where we are with that. Never got any blowback. In fact, a lot of my former contactees, the guys that I work with at the base, they love the work I'm doing, and many have shared some of their own stories.
Is there that much going on there that we don't know about? Or is it kind of, let's face it, I mean, there's a lot more secretive bases out there these days than Wright-Patterson.
Yeah, but, if you look at Wright-Pat, they have absolutely everything you would need to look at the materials, or if there were bodies in there, dead or alive. Air Force research labs, well, let's go back to 1947, and we'll go quickly up to today.
Sure.
In 1947, basically they got some wreckage out of, 70 miles north of Roswell. And it was brought to the base. And we know that for a fact because the first military person to handle that debris in the field was Major Jesse Marcel. And he went out there with Sheridan Cabot, and they brought 2 Jeep full of that stuff, small little 2-inch by 3-inch pieces. And in 1978, Stanton Friedman interviewed him, and he said that stuff went to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Oh, and by the way, it wasn't this planet. There's a videotape of him saying that, and he explains why that was his opinion. Well, General Thomas Dubose, who was Chief of Staff of the 8th Army Air Force stationed at Fort Worth, that's the office that Marcel was told, you're going to fly the material to us first. We're going to look at it. Then you're going to fly it to Wright-Patterson. So when they got him there, they switched out the material. They made him look stupid. They made him the fall guy. They put a real crashed weather balloon there in those famous pictures. But if you read Jesse Marcel's eyes, he's going, this is BS, boss. This isn't what I brought here. But General Thomas Dubose, who was in the office that day and saw the switcheroo and was part of that initial cover-up, later in life, he signed an affidavit that said the material that came from Roswell went to Wright-Patterson. So that's irrefutable evidence of where the stuff went for evaluation. Well, in 1947, the Materials Laboratory, which is now called Materials Directorate, they'd been in operation for 30 years. They were founded here in 1917. So if you had aeronautical material that needed an evaluation, Wright-Pat's the place. They had equipment, they had expertise, they had secure locations, they had secrecy oaths. If they didn't have what they needed, they could buy it. They had contracting offices. They could rent a professor or rent the equipment. So back from that date all the way to the present, if you needed something evaluated, all of Air Force Research Labs, for the most part, is now at Wright-Pat. The last few years, they moved stuff out of Hanscom, they moved stuff out of Eglin, they moved stuff out of Mesa, all that stuff, Brooks, it all came to Wright-Patterson. They built, several new buildings, hundreds of thousands of square foot of research space. So again, if something falls from the sky, FTD's still responsible. They're still on the base. They're going to give it to the guys at Wright-Pat.
Is it very well known that this has been going on everywhere at Wright-Pat? Like, were people known? I remember talking to a retired firefighter who lives about 50 miles from Wright-Pat, and he had a couple of buddies work there. And they were in the firefighting crew there, and they were told that there were certain buildings that if it caught on fire at Wright-Patterson, it doesn't matter if there's people inside, let it burn.
Yeah, I really doubt that, because the stuff is probably nested 3, maybe 4 levels, and I'm not talking about down into the earth. You think about it. The firefighters, can get into every building. When the alarms go off. And I'm sure the guy who controls the building, the doors are open so the fire people can get in. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I've got a piece of metal that I'm testing that I know, has already shown unique properties. Well, you probably find that test facility behind a very thick vault door, several inches thick, and then inside of that vault is possibly another vault. And then inside that vault, maybe a caged-in area, So there's many areas deep, and the firefighter is going to be allowed in, so many levels. And I don't know what level they would protect a human being, but I would suspect if the alarm goes off, they're just going to spin the lock behind them, and they're going to be out in the hallway waiting. You know, you would need a catastrophic failure, like, you know, the building falling down for an earthquake, for the people not to get out in time. I mean, they're going to be out several minutes before the firefighter shows up. So I'm casting doubt on the story of your friend, I'm afraid.
Well, that's fine and dandy. You know, I'm going on secondhand information here. Well, technically third hand. But with that, is there still wreckage or alien bodies, in your opinion, at Wright-Patterson?
I don't think it would be as necessary as it was in 1947, because I think in 1947, you know, they had unique facilities, unique talent, a unique amount of money, all those things that are necessary. But, you know, as the years have gone on, I think other facilities around the country have equal, if not better, equipment to do very specific tasks. So it's no longer necessary at Wright-Patterson. So although they could still do it, I think there are other places that could also do the evaluation, because the technology to do so has moved on. It's become much cheaper, and many other organizations have the type of equipment that is required. Is there some still there? I'm really, you know, I'm 100% sure that the metals came to Wright-Patterson. There's no doubt. Marcel, Thomas Dubose, and others, you know, whatever it was, came to Wright-Patterson. I've always been squishy about the alien part, because there's really no person like a General Thomas Dubose or a Major Jesse Marcel who has come forward during that contemporary time to say that they had aliens. It's always, you know, it was always the Undertaker, not the Undertaker, but the guy who worked for the funeral home, or it was the daughter of the, you know, chief of police. So solid, I'm real solid on the metals. I'm real squishy on the alien body things coming to Wright-Patterson.
Well, you know, I mean, when in doubt, they got to be somewhere. Those
That's
alien
right.
bodies definitely have to be somewhere. They're not just going to throw them in the incinerator just for the hell of it. You know, but Ray, we've only got about 20 seconds here before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. And we're going to start turning our ties towards ET contact as we do, because that's what leads up to your latest book, which is real interesting. Alien Shades of Grey, Victoria's Secret Truth. By the way, another nice play on titles there, my friend. Good job on that.
It turns out that Victoria is the actually it's her real name. So
well, we're gonna learn who Victoria is coming up here on the show. Author Raymond Szymanski. You can get his books on Amazon as we speak. We're getting into ET Contact next on Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know little brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a Space Traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hello everyone. This is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. For more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you with us. Hey, I want to remind all of you, if you want to check out our free archives, you can do so at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, a bunch of things on there. Check it on out while you're listening in. Award-winning author Raymond Szymanski is our guest tonight. We are talking E.T. Contact. And Ray, we bring you back here because all your books can be found on Amazon. But unfortunately, your latest book, you're going to have to... there's something wrong with it? The Victoria's Secret?
There's a technical issue with one of the photographs. And I don't want to get into... depth at this point, but I do expect it to be back available on Amazon by the end of next week, if not the following week. Just a minor situation. It happens all the time. And, you think you got something, and then somebody goes, maybe I don't want you to publish that photo. So we'll take care of it, and it'll be back out there soon.
Well, not a problem, man. I just wanted to make that clarification. But, you have the Alien Shades of Grey series that you have written over the years, and this is a subject that you have bought into very intensely over the last number of years, making a great name for yourself as a writer and an artist and everything along those lines. Why do you believe these stories of alien contact are going on?
What is the purpose of it? Why are the aliens here? Well, if we could breach the topic of the book, Alien Shades of Grey's Victoria's Secret Truth, in her case, this is a spoiler alert, but Victoria has been, I'll say victim, she doesn't view it that way. Victoria has been the victim of an alien breeding program.
Okay.
And this is not unprecedented in the literature. If you look at the works of Dr. John Mack or Bud Hopkins or especially Dr. David Jacobs, you'll find that their research results and their books are replete with stories of women who have said, two different effects. One, they've been taking my eggs and they're creating hybrids with the eggs. And there are stories of these same women saying, then when the embryo is created, they put it back in me and I gestate it for up to 90 days. Then they come and they remove it and they bring this thing to fruition somewhere else. They bring it to term. So Victoria and her story is very consistent with that. She has, in regressions, she's had 4 regressions by 3 world-class hypnotic regressionists. She says they're taking my eggs. And so at least from her perspective and from the perspective of many others who've been documented by people who are much smarter than I in this field, there's an alien breeding program going on using human sperm and human eggs.
Yes, I have a couple good friends who have been unpleasantly part of that program, and it's not fun. It is definitely not fun for them. And, but there is no control. There is no control with what's going on. What did it take you, having a scientific research background, what did it take for you to believe these stories that this alien hybridization program was going on?
Well, when you're a research scientist and your employer has a problem. So I work for the U.S. Air Force at Wright-Patterson, and there would be a problem. Like one of the things I worked on was the ADA program. ADA is a language that was designed and developed in order to be used for real-time embedded computer weapon systems. And what we discovered is that the statement of problem was that as new weapon systems were getting computers, as the microprocessor became commonplace, the contractors who were developing these weapon systems were using their own languages. It might be assembly code, it might be a high-level order language, but the inventory for the Air Force, they had to maintain these systems. The inventory soon became filled with 500 different computer languages and dialects, and the problem there is it's a veritable Tower of Babel. I mean, go to France. We kidded beforehand about our language limitations, right? Go to France and go to a place, small village that speaks no English. Well, imagine now that you're trying to move an engineer or software engineer from one project to another. Well, he's going to have to learn 499 other computer languages. So what you do is you do the study and you do a survey and you find out what is out there and what can help you. Well, the same thing with this UFO thing, as I started to go around and question, is all this stuff real? All the stuff that I heard in my travels and at Wright-Patterson, I did my research. I read my books, and I read a lot of, I was trying to run this to bedrock, and I read a lot of good stuff by really reputable people. And then I took it the next step where I started to go to conferences and I had personal conversations with these people. And in many cases, conversations with the individuals perhaps that they regressed. Now, they didn't tell me, but I would eventually find out that, hypnotic regressionist XYZ had these 5 clients, and I would personally talk to them, and then I would kind of investigate their thing. Well, when I met Victoria, her credibility with me as a human being was already established. And so I knew going in that it was going to be a pretty solid case because this is a pretty solid citizen, and, her academic credentials that I was aware of, her professional credentials. So I really started in a very good place.
Okay, so when it comes to somebody, whether it's Victoria or somebody like that, how do you test out their credentials to make sure that they're not just feeding you a line of, whatever to make themselves look like a victim of the impossibilities that are going on around here, rather than taking them at full credence for what they're experiencing?
Well, it's the preponderance of evidence. It's the best evidence. So I gather as much as I can. I don't need absolute proof, and I'll explain why later. But in Victoria's case, she had some of the physical, clinical, and medical evidence that's pretty much irrefutable. So physical evidence are scoop marks, and I'm sure you've talked about those probably many times on your show, where abductees,
yes,
it looks like a little baby spoon came in and took a big scoop out of the flesh, and you can pretty much put the fleshy part of your little finger into that on many occasions. I mean, it's clearly a ridge. It's not a surface thing. It's pretty deep. And Victoria has one of those, and she remembers getting it as a youth. She has a conscious memory of that. So there's a thing like surgical scars. She has an unexplained surgical scars. If you go down the checklist of, if you were to take a comprehensive list of all the things that are common among abductees, and let's say there's 15 of them, she meets like 10 criteria. The bruising, the unexplained bruising on her arms, like she's been dragged, or on her thighs, big 3-finger bruises, which I've got photographs of, triangular marks, and equally convincing is 4 hypnotic regressions by 3 world-class hypnotherapists, and it's Dr. Leo Sprinkle, Yvonne Smith, and Barbara Lamb. And I'm just guessing, trying to remember how many each of them have done. I'm guessing they've each regressed several thousand individuals, not only on UFO stuff, but on PTSD and, other types of therapeutic needs. And I have personally met on multiple occasions with Barbara Lamb to quiz her, and Yvonne Smith, who I consider a friend, and I hope it's mutual. And I've talked at length with Dr. Sprinkle. So I've quizzed these people up one side, down the other. I've researched them. I've read all their books. I've contacted people they've worked with. So again, I did my homework. And they are, despite, they have different attitudes, whether these are good beings or bad beings or, neutral. I did my homework. And I'm convinced that when I look at the preponderance of evidence, Victoria is clearly an experiencer. And not only that, so too is her grandson.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
And her,
go ahead.
And her grandson's story is included in the book.
When you are interviewing people like Victoria, what signs do you look for in regards to truth? I mean, sure, they can say they have scoop marks, or yes, you could put them through the hypnotherapy sessions and so on and so forth, but the person is still the person. When you're sitting right in front of them or you are talking to them on the phone, what kind of tip-offs are you looking for to know whether or not this person is being truthful?
Well, I really don't want to tell you that, because then it might give somebody out there who wants to be devious an opportunity to address that beforehand. So I do have certain things that I do, but in Victoria's case, I interviewed her for probably 40 hours, and all those conversations were recorded. And one of the things that I did, which I will tell you, is that I would intentionally say something wrong. And I knew it was wrong. Like, she told me something was green, and I would say, well, one of those blue guys. And then she'd go, no, they were green. And she never missed one of those opportunities where I tried to slip in, even if it was a subtle change, a subtle description. She was on it like mold on cheese.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good when you get something along those lines, Ray. It really is. I mean, because here you are specifically trying to trip her up, and she's just not taking the bait. She's not falling for it because she knows her story. She knows what's real with her. She knows what's going on. So, yeah, I could see where you had that trust built that you were going to get the truth out of her regarding that. So, I mean, that's a very rare instance to have that ability to get that.
Well, the other thing I did, which I think would be safe to say, is I would exaggerate something intentionally. And she'd say, no, that's not the number. And I would say, she had a conversation with somebody, an outside person, who told her, hey, you and I were on a spaceship together. And they brought out children, and they said that, these were your children. And she would tell me, she said, I don't remember being on that ship. There were so many children there that I was told, but I don't have a conscious memory of that. That has never come out in a hypnosis therapy session. And so I don't want you, even though somebody else told me that they saw me on a spaceship with my kids, you can't write that. And so even though she could have taken license and said, yeah, that's a great part of my story, she wouldn't have any part of that. And, I'd go, well, what about those 5 children on the spaceship? She goes, well, I was told it was 6. So it was kind of a double check, but she would never take advantage of something that she didn't think was her truth. and wouldn't let me exaggerate or even use stuff if she hadn't had it proven to her, either in a regression or in some sense where she believed it was true.
Before you met Victoria, did you believe in the whole alien hybrid program? Did you believe this was going on, or was such a thing? Had you even heard of it?
I met Victoria in 2013. And at that point, I was into, the nuts and bolts, the metals, that kind of thing. So I really wasn't focusing on the abduction. And, if I can, I'll tell you the interesting story on how I met Victoria. You think your listeners would like to hear that?
Yeah, I would like to hear it for sure.
Okay, so it's 2013. I'm at my very first UFO conference at Fountain Hills, Arizona. It was called the International UFO Congress. And I really loved the place. I loved the venue there. I had great speakers. And imagine, I've waited now decades to go to my first big UFO conference. So I fly out there just before the first speaker comes on the very first day. Victoria, who I had never seen before in my life, and her boyfriend at the time, Glenn, sat down immediately to my left. Hi. And then the speaker comes on. Okay, the speaker goes off, and now we got 15 minutes to the next one comes on. And Glenn, who is sitting to my immediate left, turns to Victoria and says, "Can I tell him?" And Victoria says, "Tell him what?" And Glenn goes, "About your hybrid children." And I'm going, I'm kind of eavesdropping. And so she says, "Sure." So Glenn turns to me and says, "Victoria has hybrid children living on a spaceship."
Oh, nice.
And I'm like,
Welcome.
I'm like, think about this. It's my first hour at my first UFO Congress, and the couple sitting next to me is trying to tell me that one of them has hybrid children on a spaceship.
Yes. That is peak woo right off the bat there, my friend. Peak woo right off the bat. And you never go wrong with that. You just never go along with that. Or wrong with that, pardon me.
So Victoria, in when we started work on the book, fast forward, 3 years later, 2016, she said, "My boyfriend Glenn told you that. Somebody else told him. I don't believe I was on a spaceship with those children, so don't write it." So I had seen Victoria. I kept going to the UFO Congress every year, and I had seen her. And now it's 2016. My first book is now published, and I'm sharing a table at the expo with Yvonne Smith. And Victoria comes up. She was one of the first people to buy the book. We chatted a little bit. It was like, hi, and we'd only see her and her boyfriend Glenn, just in passing all those years. Well, I happened to and then we talked a little bit more in the hallway, about what was really happening with her. The conference is over. I go to the casino next door. I'm going to throw $20 in a slot machine, and I'm going to my room, and I'm going to pack up to go home the next night. And I walk into the back of the casino, and who's there playing blackjack but Victoria? Nobody else at the table but Victoria. And I engage her in a conversation, and she starts to tell me a little bit more about, I just got these random stories, and I got some of these fuzzy, recollections, and she had already had 2 regressions at that time. So she got some feedback from the regressionist. So my alarms went off. I go, wow, I got to learn more about the story. And it actually took me from February of 2016 to December to convince her that her story was worth retelling for the sole purpose of helping others who have gone through a similar experience. And that's how we met.
Well, at least it was nice and cordial. And, for a lot of people who've never been to a UFO conference per se, when you go to these, strange things happen. Okay, like there are strange events and occurrences, like people will just come up to you And even if they don't know you, they will just come up to you and start telling you the most incredible stories. Some of them sound completely insane, let's be honest, but they just feel comfortable that you're a person whom they can talk to because you are at the same type of event as they are. Is that kind of the way it went down with Victoria?
You're right. It's a big kumbaya. Everybody has an interest in it. For the most part, there's a few professional debunkers, and they're there to write for the Skeptical Inquirer or some piece of shit magazine, and everyone knows who they are. But for the most part, people are there because they want to learn. There's a reason for it. They got some awareness, or a neighbor or somebody has a story, and they saw a sighting. And people are just free and happy to talk because they know that there's a lot of understanding there. And I did find that, and I found the people who were the speakers, who were the experts at the time, world-class people. They're very free to talk. You meet them in the hallway, and if they're not, they don't have to go to the bathroom or go get a bite to eat. They'll be happy to stop and talk to you anytime, any place, anywhere. And it's a big kumbaya, and I'd highly recommend it for anybody who's trying to get into the topic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I will be speaking in, what's the date today? So I'm leaving in 20 days for UFOCon 2020 to speak in San Francisco. And it'll be kind of cool to get back into the swing of things with everything, because I love doing the conferences. I really do. I find it very enjoyable because not only does it help us grow, but it helps get the message awareness out there. As weird as it sounds, it gives you a little bit more credibility in the field as well. And the fact that you enjoy them as well, as we got about a minute to go here before the break. Do you find that the information you get at conferences from people is very beneficial to your research?
Why don't I answer that after the break, and I'll put a quick plug in. I'm going to be speaking at Contact in the Desert. I'm giving a lecture, and I'm running a workshop. It's the last couple days in May, and it's the first day in June. And USA Today is called Contact in the Desert, the Super Bowl of UFO conferences. Yes, I got to get down there for that. I keep getting bugged by a few of our listeners. Why don't you come party with us at Contact? And it's like, I have this weird thing, and it's a little bit of an ego thing that I just won't go to conferences unless I'm asked to. That's the only reason why that's the only reason why I haven't attended Contact in the Desert just yet. I know one day that phone call will come, and then I will have to, say, yeah, okay, I can do this. In the meantime, I'll be, all giddy like a schoolgirl, just, so happy. But until that time, after the break.
Exactly. All right, we'll talk about that when we come back for hour number 2 here. Author Raymond Szymanski is our guest tonight. His books are all over Amazon. Alien Shades of Grays is the series you want to pick up because they're good. Very good. Make sure you go check on his books. We'll be back with hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio right after this.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at Kajans.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thieme. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the story you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 on Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, and in Dangerfield, Texas, AM 1560 KDNF. On the digital side, we're proud to broadcast on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What the hell is this, Clam? Chryselephantine. Chryselephantine is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Award-winning author Raymond Szymanski is with us tonight, and we are getting deep into ET Contact with his series of books that can be found on Amazon called Alien Shades of Grays. Highly suggest you get those. Ray, welcome back to the show.
Hey, great to be back.
Ray, when it comes to ET Contact and your look into this, why do you think this is happening?
Well, in Victoria's case, it appears as if it's a unwilling participant in an alien breeding program. In her regressions, she states, they're taking my eggs. And it's not just in a single regression, it's in multiple regressions that were conducted by world-class regressionists. So I would tend to believe that that is indeed her truth. So she also talks in these regressions about, she's specific. She said, they're taking my eggs. Very, very specific about exactly what's happening. But in some cases, she says, they're putting something inside of me. Again, it's very different. They're putting something inside of me. And then she describes this spatula-like device with a long handle on it. And when I looked this up, and I studied her description, it turns out that these are devices similar to what a gynecologist uses. And as I mentioned earlier in the first hour, many people much smarter than me who studied this for many more years, they reported cases where a embryo was created with a human egg and sperm and then genetically spliced in some alien DNA, and a fetus was replanted into the female recipient, and it was gestated there for up to 90 days. Well, Victoria talks about they're putting something inside of me. And she and I have gone round and round for days, weeks, and years about what is actually happening during the moment she's saying they're putting something inside of me. I believe, just based upon my study, that perhaps they're doing to her what they've done to many others, and that's reimplanting the embryo for a short period of gestation. She's never reported that consciously or in a regression session, so we don't know yet, but I think, we probably due to have a regression on that. We should probably do that and get it settled.
With the people who are having these hybrid contacts, from what I have learned, there are multiple fathers. Sometimes it is a matter of the ETs taking the embryos. Other times it is of people up on these craft or wherever they are actually having sexual encounters. Did you notice this as well?
Well, there is an individual who Victoria knows in real life who claims, as we mentioned earlier, that he had seen her on the spaceship, that he was the father, and that her children were being presented to her. She has no conscious memory of it. We left it out of the book because, she just said it didn't come out in the regression. I have no conscious memory of it. I might eventually find this out, but that's a topic we're not going to breach. So there was a real live human being who said, "Hey, I saw you and our kids in a spaceship." So that person believes it anyway. Now, Victoria doesn't, and that's where it's left at the moment.
For those who are skeptical of this topic, some of this is very hard to fathom and very hard to breach as some sort of reality rather than some sickening mind twist that people are going through, maybe because of psychosis, maybe because of attention seeking or whatever it may be. Why do you believe that this is happening to people and they are telling the truth about this? Never mind the evidence, but just on a personal level, why is this such a passionate topic right now?
Well, there's absolutely no advantage. It's actually disadvantageous to make a claim like that and be willing to go public with it. Victoria's a professional. She's been corporate vice president in companies and that sort of thing, head of sales for another company. So, and she made really good money. So, she's sharp. She's got 2 degrees. She speaks, reads, writes fluent Russian. She had a company in Russia for a while. This is a really brilliant person. So, how many words of Russian do you know?
No, not many at all.
Yeah, and so just and this is. There are so many people that don't say this, and I'll give you an example. I think when we exchanged some emails before the show, I told you I've got a researcher's notebook that I can open up, and I'll open up a piece of it right now because I think it's relevant to your question. I have a professional associate who I would say borders on a friend now that I'm retired, and I know her family, and she is a leading medical professional. In fact, she has testified on multiple occasions in front of the U.S. Congress on medical issues. And so, we're talking an extremely accomplished subject matter expert. And it turns out that I made an episode of Ancient Aliens. I'm on the episode called Area 52. It aired in June 1st of 2018. Well, it turns out her son, who's brilliant and has also been a guest on Ancient Aliens, was watching it one night, saw me, called his mom and said, "Hey, you're not going to believe who's on the Ancient Aliens." So she got a copy of my book, my first book. She read it, contacted me and said, "I have kept this secret for 65 years. I have told nobody, and you're the first." And she went on to describe how 3 aliens came into her bedroom when she was a child, her visitations throughout her life. She went on to describe what she thinks are certain capabilities that she doesn't quite understand how she got them. And I won't get into detail here. She's a brilliant musician. She has no idea where that came from. Again, she's in the medical field. And so here was a person who would have gone to their grave and never told anyone, including their children, about this. And it was just, a crazy chain of events that her son knew me, recognized me, called his mom. She contacted me after reading the book. And here's somebody who came out of the closet, so to speak. And I have more than one of these where people have told me, I've never told anybody, but I'm telling you because, hell, you wrote a book about it, so I know you'll listen to me. Just like, you said people come up to you at the conferences. And so it's not just about, wanting to get attention. That excuse just doesn't fly.
Why do we usually only hear about women in this case for hybridization, and we rarely ever hear about the men who are having their sperm taken?
Not true. If you think about it, the very first guy was Barney Hill. And in 1965, he said, "Hey, they took my sperm." So ever since Barney Hill, guys have been saying that. And maybe it plays better to the press. You've got a really good-looking woman. I mean, Victoria is very attractive. My medical friend is very, very attractive. And it's really weird, but the people that I know that have had this, at least the women, are very, very attractive people. And it's just wondering, man, they got some good taste here. And I'm not making light of it, but, look at the book. Look at Victoria's pictures. Very attractive woman. Why the guys don't do that? There are some, and I don't want to name names, and I have a reason for that, but there are several that have gone public with that and have made a name for themselves. But, yeah, you're right. It does seem like the women get more publicity on this.
Because for a lot of people out there, when we talk about this subject, it almost, I hate to use this term so loosely, but it's almost like rape and sexual abuse. The way that we hear this is happening, because for a lot of these people who are going through this, male or female, you rarely ever hear about anybody giving some sort of permission to have this done.
Well, it turns out that Victoria is the exception. She's okay with it. In fact, I would say of all the people that I've talked to about this on a very personal level, because I knew them professionally or they eventually became friends or they're my friends, 99% of them are terrified for a variety of reasons. For example, they never knew when they were coming. One person was terrified for that reason and their children. And eventually their children came forward and told the parents, hey, we were all together on a spaceship. Do you remember that event? And so, it's a group of siblings and their parents. So there's a variety of reasons, but most of the people I've talked to, they're absolutely terrified about this. Victoria, she said, I got this fuzzy feeling that I have a pre-birth agreement with them, or, in the regressions, she talks to them and they say it's going to be okay. We need to do this. And while she's under, we've got the audio and the video recordings of her regressions. She say, I'm okay with this. They need my help, and I'm going to help them. So, one of 100, Victoria's the exception. She's okay with it.
A lot of women who have these hybrid children, they have numerous children. It's not just one, not just two. We're talking big numbers, anywhere from 4 to 40. And it's weird to say that, but has Victoria ever met her hybrid children while out on an adventure?
She claims that she has not. There is one part in one of her regressions where she's almost in a fantasy land, and a group of children of various ages come up to her and walk her through this veil, like a veil of light. And on one side is this reality and this dimension, and on the other side are these very happy children, and they want her to sing with them, and they tell her that she's going to be with them soon. And again, all this is covered in Victoria's Secret Truth. So she's in personal conversations with me. We've often talked about, could these have been your children? And she's open to that possibility because, she has friends who are experiencers and who claim to have met their children. So she's not ruling it out, but, she's never been regressed on that point. So for her, she needs a little bit more evidence, a little bit more proof, as it were, rather than just trying to extrapolate out. And that's what I appreciate about her. She never wanted to extend the story because she felt it was exaggeration or it wasn't part of her truth. So I think that really speaks in her favor when she does say something.
We are talking with author Raymond Szymanski tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Other ET contactees out there have had similar type experiences, and they've also had cases where it's been a lot of fun, it's been a lot of laughter, but there's been a lot of pain that goes through this as well, both emotional and physical. In the people that you have talked to who have had contact with, whether it's the Greys or whether it's any alien species, have you noticed any patterns that people have had going towards their own ET contact?
Could you expand that a little? A pattern? You mean a pattern of changing their life, or a pattern of talking about it, or a pattern of fear?
I think it's a generalized question, but it goes into many subcategories, like you just said. Okay, how does it change their lives? How has it affected their daily schedules? How has it affected them physically? Have they gained weight? Have they taken better care of themselves? Or because it's maybe traumatic that they've just said, well, if this is what I'm being used for as a guinea pig, I just don't care anymore. There's a lot of facets that go along with that, Ray.
Well, in one particular case, this is another medical professional, highly accomplished, has medical certifications, and they suffer from night terrors. And it's a result of their abductions. I don't really know when they started, but I definitely know that they've had them as an adult. They've had them, while they're married. I'm sure, the husband, I never heard that he was taken, but, sometimes they switch people off. The children are definitely experiencers and have told the parents that, but she's terrified. She has lots of trouble sleeping. That's one instance. There are others that won't travel alone anymore, because, they were abducted when they were alone, and they find that for some reason, at least they believe that they've never been abducted in the company of another person. So it can really weigh on you. The person who testified before Congress, said that she always felt, no matter who she was conversing with, that she was keeping something back from somebody. She was married for decades, and after that she dated, and it was just, it was in the back of her mind, like, I don't know, it was a super secret. And eventually I'm really happy that I'm the one that they told the story to.
Ray, who is taking people?
Well, I try to, it's really funny. I try to say like Victoria has met entities she doesn't quite understand. And, when you say, well, it's aliens. And by aliens, I mean not of this planet. Or I mean not human. Because then you get the nitpickers. Well, that's the easiest explanation. Okay, Junior, give me another explanation. Well, it's interdimensional. Okay, well, where's your evidence? Who needs evidence? So you get into that argument. Clearly, if there's interdimensionals, why not? If they're off a planet, why not? If they're under the sea and they're not human, why not? All I know is they're described variously as little gray people 3.5 feet tall. Or they're iridescent mantises 6 feet tall wearing Jesuit-like robes. Or they're green mantises and they've got a doctor's smock on. Or they're reptilians. And I want to get back to a reptilian story when we get a moment. And so I don't know who they are. All I know is they don't look like us and they don't act like us. Why? Because they're talking to these people telepathically. That's all I get from these people. Yeah, they never move their lips, but man, I could read their minds and they could read my minds. So I'm just not smart enough to answer that question. I don't know.
Are they happening at the same time of year to the same people? Are they people who have had, as we only got about 2 minutes here, are they people who have had this lineage in their family of this happening?
Well, in one case, the medical person with the 2 children that are experiencers, I don't know about her parents, but I do know that her father had a UFO sighting. So it's possible that, he's an experiencer too, but at least 2 generations. In the person in front of Congress, 2 generations. In Victoria's, it at least spanned 3, but I don't know if the grandson's parents are experiencers. I don't know that, but at least it spanned, 3 generations. So multi-generational is not unusual. I don't know what they're looking for. In Victoria's case, I've got a good idea of why she was chosen, and I explain it in the book, and we can get back to that. But if we get a chance, I want to talk to you about my lunchtime encounter with a reptilian.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to have to. We're definitely going to have to hear that. We are definitely going to have to hear that. Anytime we can get into reptilian talk, that's a good thing, Ray. Very good thing.
It was very scary. It was very unexpected. It happened at a UFO Congress, so I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but it did happen there, and it's just one of those things, and it's really crazy.
Wow. That's one thing I could say. I am glad I haven't seen a reptilian because, I don't know, there's just something weird, odd, and just freaky about that. Absolutely freaky about that. I don't know why. It just seems like that. But, Ray, I'm going to get you to hold on here because we're going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Award-winning author Raymond Szymanski is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. His series, Alien Shades of Gray, are all around Amazon. All you got to do is type it on in, pick up your book. You will definitely be thankful that you did. More coming up on Spaced Out Radio as we continue talking ET contact and extraterrestrials with Raymond Szymanski right after this.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a Space Traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturday starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Glad to have all of you here with us. Want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night, join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Award-winning author Raymond Szymanski is here tonight. Alien Shades of Grey is the topics as we continue on our alien talk. Ray, welcome back to the show. We're going to get into some audience questions here, my friend. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
All right. Let's kick things off with Nikki here, who is asking, have any of the abductees you have worked with or know, Ray, have they physically tried to fight the aliens off while being abducted?
Not that I know of. Most describe it as being put into a mild state of suspension. You know, in Victoria's case, her body vibrated, and they literally vibrated her through the wall, and she remembers only being able to move her eyes, and that's very common kind of description, that they're paralyzed and they can only move their eyes, but they're very aware of things going around them. The other thing that's common is most of them only have conscious memories of the beginning and the end. They don't really remember much about the middle until they have a regression performed. So, no, none that I know of. The only guy that I know that fought them and that I had any discussion with was Travis Walton. You know, he being the famous guy in 1975 who was with 6 guys in a truck in the Apache Sitbeef National Forest. And on the 5th of November 1975, they saw what they thought was a fire. They went to investigate it, and it was a UFO. Travis got out of the truck. The UFO zapped him. He was gone for 5 days on a spaceship. And while he was on that spaceship, he remembers pushing the guys that were in the spaceship out of the way and knocking them down. And that, my friends, is when alien bowling was invented.
One way to put it, Travis was in good shape back then. I got to meet him. I got to meet him. Yeah. Yeah, I got to meet him in at Alien Cosmic Expo in Toronto last September. That was the first chance I had to ever talk with him. He is a very, very nice gentleman. Very nice gentleman.
Isn't he? He's one of the best. He'll take photographs with everyone. He'll sign books. He'll talk to you. He is. He's the salt of the earth. I love him. Yeah,
me too. Me too. I you know, it's funny because when I talked to him there, I'm like, you know, finally I'd like to get you on the show. He's like, yeah, not a problem. Let's do that. Let's set up a time and so on and so forth. Be damned if I can get him to return an email. It's like, come on, Travis, come on. Let's get this thing done, man. Nope, just doesn't work. Does not work, but that's okay. That's okay. Another question from Nikki here. Have any of the abductees you've talked about while they were taken or while they were on the alien ship, were any of them taken outside of our galaxy?
Well, Victoria's grandson one day said, "Hey, Grandma." And she said, "Yes." "We were on a spaceship last night." "Oh, really? What were we doing there?" Well, and the grandson went on to describe the scene where there's 20 or 30 humans and they're on these silver tables and they're being examined. Well, to the grandson, he thought they were in a hospital. And he said, "Well, Grandma, we're taking them to get fixed." Because he thought, hey, he sees all these adults lying on these tables. Well, it looked like a hospital to him. And he thought, "We're taking them to get fixed." And she said, "Well, where were we?" And he goes, "We were on a spaceship, Grandma, and you were flying it." So here's testimony of, again, I cover it all in the book. And, here's this young boy, maybe four and a half, and he's telling Victoria, "You're flying a spaceship, and there's all these people laying on these tables, and it's a hospital, and we're taking them to the hospital to get fixed." So apparently they were on a ship somewhere, and I don't know if it's another galaxy, but it's a spaceship.
Ray, with the spaceships that these people are seeing and going on, what are the descriptions they are giving of these craft?
It's usually the inside, and things that stick out are seamless, as in SEAM. When we construct something, we've got rivets and welds and that type of thing. But they always describe it like, it's probably like a prison toilet, where it's molded out of one thing, it's out of metal, but there's going to be no sharp edges where the convict can, cut his wrist or whatever. And they're always describing, well, the bench comes out of the wall, and it's just smooth, as if it was, punched out from the other side. And there's no rivets, there's no sharp edges, and the inside of the ship, it glows, but there's no light bulb. So it's like the walls are self-glowing. They're emanating this energy that illuminates the room. And same thing with the tables that the people are on there. They're silvery, and they're really never defined as being cold or uncomfortable, but they're always up on this pedestal kind of table, and they're always rounded edges. And, they're surrounded by the grays, the smaller aliens, but there's always like a doctor, like a mantis or an iridescent insect, or some larger type of insect that's at the foot of the table, that's got the instruments in the hand and is actually performing this, pseudo-medical whatever's going on thing. So there's a lot of consistencies in the reports, and those are just some of them.
So the technology that, for instance, people like Victoria who have flown the craft, are they flying it consciously, or are they flying it by hand?
Well, she doesn't remember being in any controls, although Travis, and you read his book, Fire in the Sky, he talks about after he knocked over those aliens, he was taken by a humanoid, not a gray, and he was taken by a more human-looking creature into a control room and shown, panels and a chair and, joysticks and that, something that he could probably, relate to. But Victoria's recollection doesn't have any of those type of things. However, there was another person who was interpreting one of Victoria's dreams, or I don't remember the essence. I remember the essence. I don't remember the particulars, but a second person had said that Victoria was flying a spaceship. So that's when her grandson said it. It was the second time that she'd actually heard that. And she thought, that's very strange. And the other occasion, she was flying some crystals to be buried in a lake somewhere in Arkansas. I have no idea where that came from, but it's her story, and she's sticking to it. So in either case, there were no controls. It was basically kind of a telepathic thing.
All right. Hadarok in our Space Travelers Club has a question. He is asking, why would aliens allow abductees to fly their ships, in your opinion?
It may never have happened. There's things called screen memories, and those are things that are implanted either by the person who's been abducted, they do it themselves, or it's been put in place by, the aliens who did the abduction. In the latter case, they don't want the person to remember what happened to them, so they, put some kind of a image in there like an owl or a deer or a large-eyed creature, because it kind of masked the fact that the Greys were staring down at them while they were laying at the table, and those are purportedly very large-eyed creatures. So you come out of it talking owls and deer, you feel less traumatized. And the self-induced screen memory is a very similar thing. You might remember children taking you through a veil, or, you might remember a nice smell. So it could be that this is just a screen memory that was implanted in her grandson, for example, where it shows that his grandmother's in control, and so he won't panic. And I think, that's my interpretation of it. So it's not really happening in my mind. I just think these are screen memories. So I don't really think they're giving control of the spaceship over to anybody.
All right. Let's move on here. Nikki is asking, are any of these aliens you have heard about the color red, or are they always some form of the Greys?
Well, what I've heard is a lot of Greys, and they're the worker bees. They just go around, they set things up. And then you have, I've heard of iridescent insectoids. I've heard of mantis. In Victoria's case, the mantis were green. I've heard of reptilians. I've heard of a few other, there's in the literature, there are books about, 25 different species, but they're really not that common. There's, I want to say the arachnoids or the archoids. I know I'm mispronouncing, not pronouncing it correctly, but, there are several that I've heard about, but there's a very common 3 or 4. So none red that I've heard of.
All right. Another question from Nikki. Are they working with any frequency systems in order to get their abductees out of a building? Was Victoria or any other able to tell you that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question. In Victoria's case, she used to listen to the radio, and she had the radio on, and she was listening to one of her shows, and her body started to vibrate, and she thought, am I dreaming this? So she started to vocalize and realized, if I vocalize and I just, emit some sound, and if it starts vibrating and I'm not vibrating vocally, then I know that my body's vibrating. And indeed, she did that test, and she recognized I'm awake and my body's vibrating, and she started to slide down her bed, and so vibration, frequency, those are related. Her body's vibrating, and she was floated through her wall. So in the book, there's a picture of the actual wall through which she was floated. And she has had these type of vibrational experiences connected to an abduction, sometimes not, where her body vibrates and then strange things happen. So, yeah, there is a frequency thing going on here, and her body is brought to some higher frequency. And I don't know if that's the mechanism through which they, allow the body to pass through a solid object, but indeed she experienced that, actually reports that in her regressions, and has some, murky subconscious memories of the same. So, yeah, there was a frequency component, at least in Victoria's.
Interesting. Because I think a lot of people always wonder, like if you're in one of those high rises in a metropolis and somehow they're getting you out of a building, how they're actually doing it. Do they, break you up into small little particles and then put you all back together? Do they have like a lifetime subscription to crazy glue for human bodies? I don't know. I mean, I say that humorously, but it's a question that many of us have.
And that's not uncommon. The vibration thing and a contact is not uncommon. Being floated through solid components, walls, windows, doors, that's not uncommon. In fact, her grandson, when he was describing how the aliens visited him the first time, he said they came right through the window. Well, the first problem with that is that window, because I did a site visit and I interviewed the grandson on 2 occasions for 1 week on each visit, so I could cross-examine him up and down. He told me, well, the time of the year the window wouldn't have been open. It's 2.5 stories off the driveway area, and no, the window was closed. They came literally through a closed window.
That is strange. Very strange. Very strange. Let's get to another question. Let me see here. Nikki is wondering if you have ever heard of Susie Hansen out of New Zealand or Australia and her story regarding being an abductee and even flying the craft.
Yeah, I have heard her. I believe I was actually sitting at a table with her unbeknownst for a while in March when I did a talk at the UFO Mega Conference in Laughlin, Nevada. And she and I think Rudy Shield and a couple other luminaries were there. And I'm just, I didn't realize who they were. But no, I'm not really familiar with her story. But now that you brought it up, I'm going to have to read it.
Samantha Mowat, too. And I know you and I were talking about Samantha Mowat off the air. She will actually be back on Spaced Out Radio on Thursday, March 12th.
Oh, great.
So you'll have to tune in and hear the young lady there because she's pretty damn impressive. That is for sure. We've got about 7 minutes before we go to break at the top of the hour. Author Raymond Szymanski is our guest tonight, talking all things alien. So when people are taken by grays, are they just being taken by the grays to go to another species, whether it's some sort of humanoid like Pleiadians or the Reptilians? Because you have to tell us your Reptilian story yet.
Yeah, I'll do that. To answer your question quickly, it seems like the grays are like the low-level workers. A lot of people think they're actually, some kind of a biological robot. They don't really seem to have any agenda on their own. So I'll tell you about the Reptilian story. Barbara Lamb gave a talk at the International UFO Congress. The specific date, I'm not sure, 2014 possibly. So at this wonderful venue that they had there out in Fountain Hills, when they would break for lunch, they had these large tables set outside. They were several feet in diameter. You get about 10 people there. So I went next door, and I heard Barbara's talk just before lunch. And she had a slide up there, and there was a picture of a woman who literally looked part human and part reptilian. And she said, yes, this is somebody that I'm working with, and, they're telling me these great stories, and I'm regressing them, and it's been fabulous. Well, I go to get and I'm thinking, okay, now this is like, maybe it was 2014, I'm thinking, I just can't get my head around this, but, this Barbara Lamb person, who I didn't know then, she's very famous, else she wouldn't be here. And that's just an extraordinary story. So I kind of put it in the, wait and see bin. So I went next door to the casino, and they have a sandwich shop there. Grabbed a sandwich, went back outside, sat down at the table. It was already full. There was one seat left. So I sit down at the table. I open the box that my sandwich is in, and I look up, and who is sitting on the opposite end of the table, exactly the opposite end of the table, when I look up and I start to take my first bite of the sandwich? It's the woman that Barbara Lamb had a PowerPoint slide on just 10 minutes earlier. It's the woman who looks like a friggin' reptilian. I almost swallowed my tongue. And you cannot imagine, I was like, oh crap. You know how, like a train wreck, you got to look at it. You shouldn't be looking at it. Or,
yes.
Somebody's shorts fell down. Or, one of those, you shouldn't look, Ethel. But I was mesmerized because this lady, it was grotesque. But it was the woman who was on the slide.
Oh, now I want to see her.
But here's the bizarre part.
I want to see how grotesque she is.
You're dealing with UFOs and ETs when you say, well, I was abducted and they anal probed me and all this, and then you go, do you want to hear the really strange part?
Exactly, right.
Well, here's what happened. I made sure, they published those on a DVD so you can get the presentation like that afternoon. So I go ahead and I buy the presentation because I want evidence that I saw that woman. And I didn't dare take a photo of her, even though I really wanted to. So I get the DVD home, and the very first thing I do after I unpack and put my stuff away, I slip that DVD in, and I go to play it. Do you know that that is one of the only view foils that the cameraman or whoever did the editing did not include in that presentation?
Weird.
Weird is not the word I would have used.
So you're saying that the cameraman didn't even capture this woman on camera, even though she was right there?
They, I think during that year, they had a guy sitting in a seat, and he had a camera on a boom, and one camera was pointed towards the speaker, and then he could switch a lens or something, and he could then put the camera onto the projection, and then whoever edited down to like whatever they edited, 60 minutes or however they did this, they had a liberty to reduce something out of that, and either the cameraman failed to record it, or the person who did the final production, who did the editing, took that out intentionally. And I was blown away, because that was the only reason I brought that DVD, was to find that picture of the woman, because it was one of those things, Dave, where you go, that's not possible. I did not see that. And my sanity, I questioned my own sanity. I go, I got to get that DVD, because that's the only proof I'm going to have. And it wasn't there.
So you got to call up Barbara Lamb for a photo.
Well, Barbara Lamb read my book. And in fact, when she and I were speakers at the conference in March, I brought her a copy. And that night she read it. And she gave me her opinion. She said she loved it. And even though I had her on the edge for a while, but she loved the book. And the problem with her is she's got archives that go back, 30 years. So
right.
I don't know if she'd ever be able to find it for me, but that I saw that, and I'm sure there's plenty of other witnesses who were there, but it blew me away. It's like, nobody looks like that. And then, nope, there she was at lunch at my table.
That is just freaky. So you got to learn how to sneak a photo, man. You got to learn how to be a little stalkerish when it comes to this stuff.
Well, there is the word photojournalism in the name of my company, so, I've clicked a shutter or two in my life, but it was just one of those things. Honest to God, I was so shocked. There's no describing it. It's almost the same feeling you get, like if you've almost had an accident, like a car's coming at you and veers away at the last minute, or it was one of those heart-stopping, adrenaline-pumping moments I will never, ever forget.
I bet. I mean, we've all had, that type of scenario happen. But, I mean, when it happens right in front of you, and especially when you're at an ET conference and you're not really expecting it, I mean, that just blows your mind.
Yeah, she was stretching her credulity at that point, and then, bam, just when you least expect it, there it was in your face.
Wow. My friend, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break at the top of the hour. We have award-winning author Raymond Szymanski on for another 30 minutes, entering hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio. You can go on Amazon, get any of his books called Alien Shades of Grays. If you're into the ET subject, this is good reading. Very solid, good reading. So make sure you check that out. More Raymond after this, along with the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned. More Spaced Out Radio coming up.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there. The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemann. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at Kajans.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
We're underway in the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, and KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California. On the digital side, we're proud to broadcast on Bardell's Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Great to have you with us. Remember, all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Chryselephantine. Chryselephantine is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we got a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. For the final time tonight, we introduce award-winning author Raymond Szymanski. You can grab his books on Amazon, Alien Shades of Grays. Definitely something to pick up. Ray, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, man. It's gone so quickly, man. I've had 2 bags of fruity snacks. Are you sure we can't do this for another hour?
No kidding. This I don't know how it flies by like this. It just does, my friend. Cherie is asking, I got a couple questions from the audience. Okay. Do you think, Ray, that she, as in Victoria, phased into this ability to see her, or do you recall if any others could see her?
Okay, if any others could see her when?
Probably when she was abducted?
Well, I'm sure that there were others on the ship. There usually is. Her grandson said that they were abducted together and they were on a spaceship together. So that's at least one person who's seen her on a ship. And then we have the story of this guy who claims to be the father of the children. He claims to have seen her on a spaceship. In fact, he he wrote a book about that. So, I guess she's been seen by family and friends alike.
I think I maybe made a mistake on that. I think she was talking about, Cherie, that is, talking about the reptilian lady you had lunch with.
Okay, and then we do the question. I lost track of it.
Could anybody else see her or recognize what she looked like?
Oh, everybody. There was... you would think, by looking at the people sitting at that table, that somebody had slipped something terrible into the punch bowl. Everybody was really uncomfortable, like keeping their heads buried, into their sandwiches. And usually everyone's talking and laughing and, oh, did you hear this? And it's a big buzz. But that table stood out for how quiet it was. And everyone was like, as soon as the sandwich was done, normally they would just use it as an opportunity to chat. People got out of there, including me. So there's no doubt that everybody was aware of who was sitting there.
Are we sure she just wasn't really unattractive?
Oh, no. Oh, no. It was the lady in the slide. And I think I'm going to do what you suggested. I'm going to contact Barbara and see if she doesn't have another copy of it from maybe another presentation or, buried, and she can send me the PowerPoint slide. I got to get a copy of that because no one will believe it.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty darn cool, my friend. All right, let's move on here. I want to see if there's any other questions. Julian is asking, what did her head look like? What did she look like?
If you take a normal picture of a reptilian with furrowed skin, almost the skin was like in rows, but it could have been a terrible skin condition, but how it got like that, imagine, some Star Trek character where the brows are all raised up in furrows and rows and that kind of on the cheeks and everything. It's really hard to describe unless you see it. Try to just think of, a not very attractive woman merging a face with a reptilian. You see the standard reptilian things. That's all I can tell you.
Intriguing. Very intriguing. I want to ask you about belief, because there are a number of people out there, myself included, who have had some pretty extraordinary experiences that cannot be explained. There is no real physical explanation or proof that we can give outside of our word. And there is a large portion of the population that just does not believe any of this. With all the stories, with all the experiences that have been put out there, why do you think the public in general still has a tough time believing this subject and that this phenomena is happening?
Well, life is busy. You got a job, you got a family, you're commuting, you've got bills to pay, you've got relatives, things go bad, you get sick. So you got to prioritize. And I think people, first and foremost, they're just too busy. Then when somebody goes, hey, you've written a book, like, I had some dental work done, and I was talking to the dentist, and they raised the subject. So I started talking about him, and I said, what are your thoughts? And they immediately said, it's best not to know. I don't want to know.
Do you think the government is responsible for much of that cover-up?
I think a lot of people buy into it, and for them, it's good. It's like a screen memory. I feel better about it. The government says, one, it's not of defense significance. We're not under attack. They're not doing anything to us. And flying through our airspace really doesn't bother me unless, it hits the jet airliner I'm in. So I'm cool with it. I'm chilly with it. But they don't know the truth. And if they did know the truth, I think there would be a little bit more attention to it. Well, let's take conspiracies. And let's just take one. My father lived, he was 93. And we had got talking about JFK one day, and I said, no, Dad, there is the possibility that it wasn't just Oswald. There's a lot of evidence that says that, maybe he had help or he didn't do it at all. My dad was beyond disbelief. He's like, well, we heard it from Walter Cronkite, 3 shots in Dallas, and, they got him. He couldn't open up his mind that there was another possibility. And I think a lot of people, with respect to this, other thing that can be conspiratorial, the government's covering up, they just can't open their minds enough to think, well, there's 100,000 reports, but the government tells me it's not a problem, so I'm cool with it. They got it taken care of. I'm just gonna move on with my life. So it's not really a problem with belief. It's a problem of, it's a problem I don't have to deal with, and I'm not going to. I don't have so much space up in my cranium and so many hours in a day. It's just something I don't want to deal with. And they forget about it. They just don't deal with it.
How wrong is that, considering we seem to be getting closer to some of these answers?
Yeah, that's the scary part. If you think there's no alien breeding, I suggest you go to a state fair or to your local amusement park.
Walmart.
That's Walmart. And you look and go, hey, these are very strange people. Or read Dr. Jacobs' book, Walking Among Us. He talks about how this assimilation is being done, hybrids into our society. It's a very unnerving book. So the problem is, and now think of whose problem it is, right? It's not Joe Citizens, it's the government's problem. And the government's going, well, folks, we've already proven that it's a problem we can't handle because they run through our skies with impunity and they're doing all this stuff and they can abduct anybody they want to, anytime they want to. So I don't want this problem on my plate. And the best way to keep it off my plate is to deny that it's even out there. So, that's the way it is.
A lot of people believe that the government is in cahoots with some of these alien species and allowing this to happen. What's your thoughts on that?
I've never researched it. I don't know. Anything is possible. Let me give you a little caveat here. I worked for 38 years and 9 months for the U.S. government. I had the best job. I worked with the best people. They took care of me. There was always something interesting, but I was well supported. I love the people whom I work for. And I have no anti-government, not even a single cell in me. So that's not why I'm saying these things. I'm just saying that it would be nice to know publicly that they're doing something about it. In my gut, I don't think this is a problem they can't ignore, and there's probably a bunch of agencies out there that are looking into the problem. I don't believe our government is that naive. I'm just saying I think we'd all feel better, a little bit better about it if we knew that they were doing something about it. But if they are and they're not telling us, I think they have a very good reason for not doing so. So all you people out there, just chill a little bit, okay?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know, man. I think that, a lot of people who have had those experiences, especially like my labs or MK Ultra encounters, would disagree with that.
Well, look at what's happening with the Navy now. Okay, the Navy is releasing those videos, and what was behind that? There was a program, a secret program that was actually looking at that, right? They were only spending $24 million. You can't even buy a single jet airplane nowadays for $24 million. They spill that amount of glue on the production floor in a jet assembly factory. So what I'm saying is, if ATIP was spending $24 million, that shows that somebody was interested in this, and they were investigating it. And I'm betting there's a whole lot more money out there that's being spent on this problem. $24 million is nothing. Nothing.
Do you believe then that the government is as in the dark about this subject as they are proclaiming to be?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of people working this behind the scenes. What they're working on, I haven't a clue, but, you got to go with your gut. And, I saw things develop. I was in the research and development world We work problems from 5 years out to 50 years out. And I think that although they haven't invaded us yet, I think, the defensive-minded people that we are, I'm sure they're investigating it. That's just my gut feel. I'm going with my gut on this one.
What do you think they know?
Well, they picked up the metals, so they probably got some information on that, and they've probably got some bodies. As I said earlier, though, I'm very squishy on that part, less condensed. But if they do, I'm sure they know a lot about the biology. They know how fast these craft can go. Take the guys at Rendlesham. Jim Pennison wrote in his notebook, "Speed impossible." He touched the craft. He saw it changing colors. They measured the radiation afterwards. They made plaster casts of the indentions in the ground. All of that tells you somewhat. They realize that there's no engine in these things, at least not like we have engines in jets and helicopters. It was just literally a block of a glass-like material that took off at an impossible speed. So I think what they know is limited, but they may be able to extrapolate some things from the clues that they have. And these are not dumb people.
Greco on Twitter is asking, how do we bring believers and non-believers together, assuming all parties are open-minded? I know it sounds impossible.
Well, I would it's impossible, but I'll tell you, if you want to learn more, go to a good quality UFO conference, and then be advised, read a lot before you go, like a year's worth. And here's why. You need to be a smart buyer. I was at a conference, very reputable, and there were a handful of people, reputable people like John Lear. Okay, his dad invented the Lear jet. The man, John Lear himself, has flown every aircraft. I think he holds the most flight certificates or whatever of anybody ever in the world for the number of airplanes. He worked for the three-letter agency that nobody wants to talk about, and he admits it. I heard John Lear at a conference tell the attendees that there were 1 million people living on the dark side of the moon. I heard another woman who had great books, I read one of them, tell the audience that she was the reincarnation of the Apostle Peter. Okay? I had another guy who said that the Fatima miracle was a UFO, and he was convinced of it. And a fourth person say that they had 40 hybrid children. Okay? The last two are the more believable. So you've got to be a smart consumer. You got to know when to really apply the BS filter. I mean, I love John Lear, and he's brought a lot to ufology, but he lost me when he said there's 1 million people living on the dark side of the moon. I think you don't need a year of study to throw that one out. But you hear what I'm saying? There are good people, and there are some not so good people. And if you're a smart consumer, you can really learn a lot by going to these conferences. But you have to be careful. You have to use a lot of common sense there. Just don't dive in and accept everything.
Well, that's tough for a lot of people to do in this field, man.
Yeah,
there's a lot of woo out there.
They're making money at it, and people like you and I don't really need the money. I've got a great retirement, and I'm good. So I just don't really have a need. I have this truth, like Victoria's truth, that I've uncovered, and I want to share it for a good purpose, because she only agreed to do it because she thinks someone's going to read it and it's going to help them cope with whatever they're going through.
Do you feel a sense of responsibility then?
I feel a sense of happiness because I'm not trying to change anyone's beliefs at all. That is the furthest thing from my mind. I'm not into that. I'm not trying to pull a conversion on anybody. But I just felt that, as I found more and more of my friends and personal acquaintances that had similar experiences. In fact, it helped one of them when I showed them a draft of the manuscript and we read through a section that I knew related to my friend. Her response to me was, I thought I was the only one. And it blew me away. And then she broke down in tears. And I know I helped that person, and I know I helped the one that testified in front of Congress, and I've had other people tell me so. So I think it's mission accomplished. Whatever Victoria and I wanted to do, and it was to help those out there that had similar experiences. I'm just hoping that people who've had that will try to get a copy, get it through a library, or do Kindle online or whatever if you don't want to buy the copy off of Amazon. But I think it will help those that have had an experience.
We've only got about 3.5 minutes left with you tonight, Ray, and this is a show that has flown on by, and I want to say thank you for coming on. What's next for you? Where do you go from here?
Well, I'll be at Contact in the Desert. I will be giving a 2-hour lecture and a 2-hour workshop. That's going to be the last couple days of May. It's in Indian Wells, California, and it's supposed to be super duper. I'm taking some months off to do some more research, and I'm planning on taking some of the stuff I put on the back burner for Victoria's Secret Truth and putting that into a third book, probably out about a year from now. But I don't plan on any more radio shows. I want life to go back to normal now for at least till I get the Contact in late May.
What about book-wise? What are your plans?
Book-wise? Well, yeah. I put a lot of stuff aside for to write Victoria's Secret Truth, and a lot of those stories I want to put into a final book, but I don't want to rush it. I've got some things that are developing, and I want to come out again with something that is truthful, it's proven, it's been taken to bedrock, and I won't publish it unless I believe it. So it'll be UFO, might be some abduction things, it may be some metal things, but it will be the truth as I know it.
That sounds like a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. Do you see a time where you're going to have to change your type of writing because what is coming up in the field, it's a field that, for as much as everybody thinks it's stagnant, it is moving very, very fast and trending towards more information out there?
No, I try to make it a humorous kind of thread, and I did that in both books, even though the second book I had to reel it back, because I want to bring in an audience that really hasn't seen much of this, and they're afraid of it, so I try to make it a little more palatable. But I try to stick to core stories. I'm not going to do something about 40 UFO children or the far side of the moon or reincarnation as Peter the Apostle. I just won't write that stuff simply because I think it's way woo-woo. So, no, I don't let anybody drive me. I've already got, I think, a framework for the next book. And I think 3 books and out might be it. It's time to, I'm convinced. It's a phenomenon. I'm convinced it's true. And I really don't have to do any more research to convince myself. So there's enough people out there to carry on without me.
Well, you know what? It's been a good time having you here, my friend. It really has. We have to make sure we don't wait another 2.5, 3 years to do it, Ray.
No, you'll be one of the first. When that book is ready to come off the presses, I'll call you and we'll let you be one of the first to get the best stuff out there.
Definitely. I appreciate that, and I always appreciate your time, and have a lot of fun at Contact in the Desert. I've never been. I hear it's a fantastic event that you'll be able to have a good time with, my friend.
Well, good luck out in San Francisco. I was going to ask you, was Lorian Fenton the one that recruited you?
Yes. Yeah. Lorian's been a good friend of mine and of this show for about 4 years now.
Wonderful. Love her to death. She was the one that recruited me for UFO MegaCon, and we've had some great conversations. I've been on her show. So great. She always gets quality people. So I'm happy to hear that. And hope you have a great week there.
You too, Ray. Hey, coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Thanks to Ray Szymanski for coming on in. Grab his books on Amazon. More sports. I'm thinking hockey right now. More Spaced Out Radio coming up right now.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby. And tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thieme. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from vans to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you with us. Reminder, if you've missed most of the show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Grab a great book from We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Let's get to it. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the wacky, the strange, and sometimes the downright dangerous. You know, it was coming to this. The World Health Organization has finally declared the new coronavirus outbreak a global emergency amid the recent jump in the number of infected patients. The main reason it is not what is happening in China, but what is happening in other countries. The WHO chief, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, announced at a news conference in Geneva, Switzerland. Our greatest concern is that the potential for the virus is to spread to countries with weaker health systems, which are ill-prepared to deal with it. An outbreak of the virus, which has so far killed at least 170 people and infected more than 7,800, was first reported by Chinese officials after it originated at an animal and seafood market in the city of Wuhan. Coronavirus is now said to be transferable between humans. 38 new deaths and 1,737 new infected cases have been reported in the last 24 hours. Roughly 99% of all the cases of the virus, that's 7,736 infected people, have appeared in China, but it has spread now to at least 18 countries. The number of coronavirus cases in China has surpassed the number of cases of the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS, that occurred in the mainland China during an outbreak in 2002 and 2003. But the coronavirus death toll has remained lower. There now have been 98 cases of the virus outside of China, including 8 cases of human-to-human transmission in 4 countries: Germany, Japan, Vietnam, and the United States. WHO has confirmed, adding that there have been no deaths outside of China as of yet. The United States has seen 6 confirmed cases of the virus, 2 in California, 1 in Arizona, 1 in Washington State, and 2 in Illinois, health officials said. The 6th case was confirmed Thursday in a Chicago resident, the spouse of the first confirmed travel-related case in Illinois. The new case marked the first in the United States that occurred via person-to-person transmission, CDC officials said. Common symptoms of coronaviruses have resembled those of a common cold. Other strains of the virus, such as severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, and MERS, could cause pneumonia and possible death. They are saying that they have applauded, the World Health Organization that is, have applauded the Chinese government's speed in which it detected the outbreak, isolated the virus, sequenced the genome, and shared it with the WHO. Yeah, there's still 7,800 people infected in this world. He emphasized that the emergency declaration was not meant to unnecessarily interfere with international travel and trade and does not recommend limiting trade and movement. All right. Well, that's still scary enough. This is why I'm glad I work at home and barely go out in public. Katie Sowers answered questions on topics ranging from whether it hurt getting her ears pierced to if she wants to be an NFL head coach one day. The answer was yes to that. For the full 60 minutes of the San Francisco 49ers portion of the media night on Monday, Sowers talked to reporters from around the world on making history as the first woman and the first openly gay coach to work the Super Bowl. I am waiting for someone to tell me that this is all a joke and they're going to be like, psych! You're not really here. You're not really a football coach, Sowers said. It's one of those things that you really start to look around you and take advantage of every single day, especially with things happening in the news. You really appreciate the moment. Being the first woman to coach in the Super Bowl may be surreal. Sowers makes very clear she hopes she's blazing a path for many more to follow. I feel like a broken record, but what I want to continue to say is even though I'm the first, the most important thing is I'm not the last, and we continue to grow it. Simply adding a Super Bowl was Sowers' dream growing up in Heston, Kansas, and playing football in the yard with her twin sister, Liz. She might have become a basketball coach after wrapping up her college basketball career in Goshen College in Indiana, but being gay kept her from becoming a volunteer assistant there in 2009. Current Goshen president Rebecca Stoltzfus apologized to Sowers for that last week and noted those sexual orientation policies were ended in 2015. Sowers played in the Women's Football Alliance for the U.S. football's national team, including her best game ever when she intercepted 5 passes at safety against Germany. Injuries such as a separated shoulder and a torn labrum ended her playing career, leading her to Kansas City, where she earned a master's degree at Central Missouri. This is a smart lady. Smart lady. You know, makes you kind of want to pull for the 49ers. I like when that stuff happens. All right. Researchers have uncovered the remains of a huge fossilized shark head in the walls of a cave in Kentucky. Maybe it's Hellier. Hellier. See, this is... Hold on a second here. Now we got sharks in Kentucky, in the caves. This is where Hellier is going inside all of these caves, and there's sharks in there. What the hell is next? I'm going to be walking around the forests here looking for Bigfoot. There's going to be sharks there, too. I don't care if this one's dead. There's probably one that's alive. You know, probably got a saltwater oxygen mask on. I could see it now. I don't think it's imagination. I don't. All right. So the remains of an ancient animal are located in Mammoth Cave National Park, which is home to the longest known cave system on Earth, one that extends for more than 400 miles, according to National Park Service. The shark fossil, dated around 330 million years ago, was first spotted alongside several others by Rick Olson and Rick Toomey, 2 Mammoth Cave experts who were conducting investigations of the area. The pair took photos of the fossils and sent them to Vincent Santucci, a paleontologist with the National Park Service, in the hope they could identify them. Santucci Santucci also passed the images on to John Paul Hodnett, a paleontologist at Dinosaur Park in Maryland. The site contains rare fossil deposits from around 115 million years ago. Hodnett was able to identify most of the shark fossils in the images. However, he became particularly interested in one set of remains. One set of photos showed a number of shark teeth associated with large sections of fossilized cartilage, suggesting there might be a shark skeleton preserved in the cave. Shark skeletons are made of cartilage, which does not fossilize, as well as bone, so is rarely preserved as shark teeth fossils are, on the other hand, because they're found literally commonly all over the world. After reviewing the images, Hodnett decided to visit the park and examine the fossils for himself. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to see in the cave during my trip in November. When we got to our target specimen, my mind was blown. The paleontologist was not able to uncover a full skeleton. He did identify a skull, lower jaw, cartilage, and several extremely detailed teeth. Given the dimensions of these remains, Hodnett estimates that the shark was about the size of a modern-day great white, which can grow up to around 15 feet, according to National Geographic. He said the remains likely belong to a species of Cyvodus striatus, which lived between 340 and 330 million years ago during the late Mississippian geological period. For much of the Mississippian period, which lasted between 359 to 323 million years ago, the area that is now known as Kentucky was submerged beneath a shallow tropical sea. As a result, many marine fossils are found in the area. The latest discovery was made in a part of the Mammoth Cave National Park Fossil Shark Research Project, which so far has identified around 100 individual specimens in the cave system. I'm not going in there. Not a chance. Southern California residents thought it may have been a UFO in the sky as they captured video when suspected space debris all of a sudden lit things up and broke into multiple pieces. Videos captured by residents in San Diego, Los Angeles, and the surrounding areas Wednesday evening show the bright fireball suspected by some to be a meteor breaking into several smaller pieces and streaking across the darkness. It was unclear whether any of the pieces fell to Earth or if they burned up in the atmosphere. The American Meteor Society logged 63 reports of sightings in Southern California on Wednesday night. The society said the object may have been debris from the Delta II rocket that launched a GPS satellite back in 1989. A young coyote that may have been starving bit a woman who was skiing in Yellowstone National Park before park officials found the animal and killed it. The animal attacked the skier around 9:50 in the morning on Tuesday on Grand Loop Road near the South Rim Drive in the Canyon Village area of Wyoming Park. Park officials said witnesses took the victim, a 43-year-old, to the Canyon Visitor Education Center, where rangers treated her for puncture wounds and lacerations to her head and arm. Rangers then transported her to Mammoth Hot Springs and then a medical facility. Her condition was not immediately known. Park staff temporarily closed the loop and located and killed the coyote that attacked the woman. The animal is being tested for rabies. In a statement, Yellowstone wildlife biologist Doug Smith said the coyote attacks in the park are extremely rare. He said the animal in question may have been starving, as officials found porcupine quills in its jaw and mouth. Encounters like these are rare, but they can happen. We suspect this coyote may have been starving due to... Oh, they just said that. Why would you repeat that? That's terrible writing. Come on. Terrible writing. Who writes like that? Let's find the author of this story. Come on, Kalita. You got to be better than that. Got to be better. Stronger writing, please. I'm eliminating that story. Hey, remember about a week and a half ago, we told you about the Japanese billionaire Yusaku Maezawa, who's going up to space and he wanted to find a life partner for that trip? Well, it looks like the fashion mogul invited single women over the age of 20 to apply for his matchmaking event. Almost 28,000 applied, but he said he was experiencing mixed feelings, and now he's pulled out of the search. Now, he still plans to make the trip to space in 2023 without a partner. In January, the 44-year-old advertised online for women to accompany him to space. The website featured a list of conditions and criteria, including they had to be single, over the age of 20, and with an interest into going into space. Just one woman would be picked. with the full process supposed to be turned into a matchmaking documentary called Full Moon Lovers. But on Thursday, he announced on Twitter that he would no longer be looking for a space companion. There was a part of me that still had mixed feelings about my participation, he said in a series of tweets. To think that 27,722 women with earnest intentions and courage had used their precious time to apply makes me feel extremely remorseful to conclude and inform everyone of this selfish decision of mine. The fashion mogul is known to have recently split up from 27-year-old actress Ayami Goriki. This is not the first time Mr. Maezawa, the founder and former CEO of online fashion retailer Zozo, has embarked on an attention-grabbing stunt. He previously promised to share 100 million yen between 100 randomly selected people who shared one of his tweets. To participate, all you have to do is follow me and retweet this. It became the most retweeted post ever. He reportedly informed the winners in January last year. In 2018, he was named as the first private passenger due to be flown around the moon by SpaceX, the company owned by Elon Musk. The price Maezawa agreed to pay for his ticket to space has not been disclosed, but according to Musk, it's a lot of money. Planned for 2023, the mission would be the first lunar journey by humans since 1972. A Georgia dentist who holds the Guinness World Record for the largest collection of toothpaste said his collection has grown to about 3,000 tubes. Dr. Val Kopalkoff of Peach State Dentistry said his toothpaste collection began when he was trying for a very different Guinness record, the largest collection of pulled teeth. When I started my dental career, I was pulling hundreds of teeth. Then I remembered there was a Guinness record for the number of teeth pulled. I started looking online for that record, but could not find it. Kolopakov says he has his collection of hundreds of extracted teeth, but he ends up finding information on toothpaste collecting and decided to change his focus. Instead, I came across information about collecting toothpaste, and I thought, hey, I would love to collect toothpaste because it's much more exciting. Could you imagine this guy, with an accountant? Oh, what a party. What a party. Yeah. So apparently he's all excited about this. Looking by his photo, no, he is not married. Go figure. Remember we told you about that cat named Perdita, who is considered the worst cat in the world by a social media post by a Western North Carolina animal shelter? Yeah, well, she's gotten adopted. Yeah, big update here. Perdita has found her forever home after 175 adoption applications were sent to the rescue. The Post said that after narrowing down the applications to the top 10, staff conducted interviews, checked references, and had some interactions with possible future families. Perdita chose her adopters after a successful meet and greet, according to the Post. The Post said the world's worst cat will be leaving for Tennessee with her new parents on Saturday. Good for that cat. Let's get to it. Good old Perdita got a home. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. I love this song. Tell me about your most frightening alien encounter. Still waiting for Marty to post a clown on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. Waiting, Marty. Can't do it without the clown, Marty. Probably going to have to. There it is. Thank you, Clam. The Desert Clam setting up for that. Thank you, Clam. I know what you're doing. #SpacedOutRadio if you want to see the clowns that they post every day for the Cuterebra song there. All right. Tell me about your most frightening alien encounter. Deborah, I've had daily contact for over 63 years. Never a thing even remotely close to negative or scary, even as a very small child. It's been my positive experiences, only love, friendship, education, and adventure. Good for you. Good for you. Cameron, I've got a couple, but the one story I've never really shared is of me literally being lifted into a craft while riding a bike. The bike came with me, too. Oh, that's real David Politis there, isn't it? 3 high school friends were with me and reported me missing, which resulted in them getting arrested and questioned about my disappearance. Prior to the cops being involved, they wrecked a car trying to get away from the situation at hand. It was a scary night. I might need to know more about this. That's an interesting story. Could be a future guest there. Gail. I wasn't frightened so much as I was in survival mode. I was asleep, then awoke resisting and fighting all I could while being pinned down. I was jerked my head sideways, back and forth because someone was attempting to do something to the side of my head. In our struggle, I was doing everything to defend myself, and that included biting at whatever had intruded in my home. As the bugger seemed to be trying to give me an injection of some kind, his hand was trying to hold my head still. So I bit it, and a long bony finger crunched off. Besides the little intruder jerking his hand back, I could smell a definite odor that smelled like used motor oil. Then I was unconscious. I woke the next morning in my bed, very well rested. What do you think Captain Shirk actually had the Rocky theme song going for that? What do you think? I think she did. Kelly, the only sighting that I had was while my wife and I were driving down the interstate. Nothing scary about it. She was snapping pictures like crazy. Russell, coming to 3D Earth and meeting humans. Heather, the other night when I saw that guy with only 2 legs on the sidewalk, still no word on it. And Sebastian gets a final word. Tell me about your most frightening alien encounter. Meeting you, Dave Scott. Ouch. Ouch, Sebastian. Yes, I'll be talking to you after the show. Hey, I want to say thank you to everybody participating in today's Thought of the Dave. We'll do it all again on Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. Big thanks to Captain Shirk for not only biting off an alien's finger, but providing us with the SOR Newswire. Yeah. Apparently, Marty posted the clown 20 minutes ago. I can't scroll back that far, Marty. I can't. Hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter. I can't. Not during the show. I expect it at tune time. Anyways, big thanks to author Raymond Szymanski for coming on in, talking about aliens, hybrids, abductions, ET contact, a little bit of UFO action. Kind of did a little bit of everything on there. It was kind of good. It was kind of good. All right. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Big thanks to everybody participating in the chat rooms on LGAB, Spreaker, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the SOR Space Travelers Club on our website. It's only $5 a month. And all the snarkers and snarkettes at hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter. You made me laugh tonight. You made me laugh when we hit peak, Lou. Oh, yeah. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. Tomorrow night, let's end the month together with the SOR Paranormal Roundtable. I'm bringing in some friends. I hope you join us as well. We're going to have a good time talking about the month that was. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.